Hi everyone. Thank you. Thank you for the amazing intro. I just want to say Geekout has been such an amazing platform. These guys work so hard to make everything work, and I feel like you should definitely take advantage of it. I feel like those talks are amazing and you get a lot from them, but the bigger opportunity, you go online, maybe some of you it's the first Geek Out you've ever been to, and you go online, you scroll on Facebook, and then you see James Van Alswyk saying, "It's gonna be the Burning Man of ecom, baby, it's gonna be amazing, we're gonna shoot tanks, it's gonna be that." And yeah, I mean, like, the talks and the knowledge you get from it is big, but I feel like the connections you get from just meeting people, they're life-changing for me. Each Geek Out, I always tell my friends, I know how I'm getting in, I do not know how I'm gonna come out, and let's do it, baby. Geek Out Kiev. So, first of all, a bit about myself. Unlike other speakers who need to stand here for you to see, I do not need to because I am small. So I'm 32 years old, born and raised in Jerusalem, moved to Tel Aviv. My personal story that I like to share has been my inspiration, and some of you already asked me, you used to work for someone, how did you just decided to work for yourself and stuff like that. My main motivation, and just like Anjan, has been a specific situation where my sister was talking to, my mother was talking to her sister, and she told her it's the middle of the month, we don't have enough money. She asked her for help, and I was like, I'm gonna be a millionaire by the time that I get to 30 years old. I wanted my mother, I wanted my dad to have a better life, to go out, to drive decent cars, go on restaurants, do all of those stuff. It wasn't about just driving Lambos and just like the affiliate marketing lifestyle. So that's me. By the way, the way that you pronounce my name is Maor, but you guys don't have to. You can call me Wolf. The main reason why I decided to be a wolf is the fact that the movie came out back then, and I decided, okay, Maor sounds like a horny cat. Usually the guys from the States would say meow, something like that, and in Ukrainian it's probably Maorsky. No, but yeah, so I'm what I call a full-stack media buyer. I want to talk to you about what a full-stack media buyer is, and I'm going to do it in a second. I have a couple of operations. So I have my vitamins and supplements brand going on for 2 years almost. I have a luxury fitness center in Israel. We were just branching out. We also pivoted during COVID and opened up a fitness app that's doing live streams and stuff, became the biggest app for online workouts in Israel. Full stack media buyer, what is that? Okay, most of the media buyers you would meet are Facebook media buyers. And I feel like Facebook is big, but I feel like nowadays, if you want to be a media buyer, it's not just about getting the creatives, just like publish the campaign and doing that. I feel like you need to have, first of all, control over all of the platforms. I just realized maybe James is going to kick my ass after he notices that I just did an impersonation of him. Oh, fuck. And this guy is big. So anyway, you need to, first of all, control all of the platforms. So native ads, Google, Facebook, and really spend your own money. So that's the first part of being a full-stack media buyer. The other part is that I feel like you need to have the whole 360. So editing the pre-renders, just like video editing, image editing, doing the whole thing, because now when you start scaling, when you start building a big campaign, you want to make sure that you're dynamic, that you act fast, and that you're making those changes really fast. I was just talking about that. Okay, so what we're gonna talk about today would be just like really cool, important, and smart traffic hacks. I'm going to touch Google, I'm going to touch natives, I'm going to do a lot of stuff, but I really took the best stuff that I'm currently using, and I want to tell you guys, a lot of people in the industry wouldn't really want to share, wouldn't really want to tell their secrets, how they're doing stuff. My philosophy has been always to share. There's nothing on the back end. I'm not going to push any course. I'm not a guru. I'm not anything. I just like sharing because I believe that everyone in this room has been filtered out. And in general, people in the industry are super smart. If you're not authentic, they're going to see through it. So my stuff is just like really the stuff that I'm using, stuff that you can implement and really take on to your campaigns. So the first big thing that I really implemented on across all of my campaigns, whether if it's just like a lead gen campaign or an e-commerce performance campaign, would be soft conversions. The reason why I started doing it was iOS 14, and this has been a big change throughout a lot of my campaigns. I know that most of you aren't doing it just because I audited a lot of accounts, a lot of Google accounts, a lot of native accounts, and I see that people aren't using soft conversions. So let me just explain. A soft conversion is anything that would be in the middle from when the user clicks on the ad till he finishes the funnel. So it could be a checkout, a purchase, or maybe someone who's just leaving their details. What using soft conversions actually gives you is two main things. The first one is just like faster manual optimization. So let's take on just Outbrain or Taboola. If you implement any type of soft conversion, which I'm going to tell you about in a second, like give you examples and stuff, you get to have more data. So first of all, you feed the algo faster, and the algorithm learns faster, but you also have a lot of data on how to optimize. So there are a couple of stuff that I'm doing. First of all, I'm always using Google Tag Manager. Second of all, if you don't have a lot of in-between type of conversions, inside Google Tag Manager, you have the ability to fire events according to either the scroll depth, so how much the user scrolled inside the page, and or the time that the user spent inside the site. So whether it's just someone who adds to cart, going from the pre-lender into the offer page, anything like that, I like entering. Inside Outbrain and platforms like that, you can add up to 3 types of conversions. So one would be, of course, the checkout. You're going to optimize and have the system optimized through that. But just like having that inside native platforms has been such a money saver for me because I get to see the average conversion rate on those soft conversions and then decide if I'm going to kill a section or a publisher according to that. So that has been a big thing. One big tip that I want to share with you guys, and I would love going in depth, but I want to complete and just do the whole thing, is not, sometimes people would add just like a soft conversion that's really easy, like for example 5 seconds time spent on the website or 10 seconds. So my rule of thumb is that you want to kind of like look at a conversion that would be not higher than 30%. So if you see that scroll depth 50%, someone who reaches the middle of the page, you get like 70% conversion rate or 50%, just make it harder, okay? Because you want to make sure that you really feed the algo good quality type of just like conversion data. The second thing that I'm using right now, and these are things that I haven't shared, okay? So by the way, I'm going to send right now a message inside the Instagram group with all of the social stuff. I have a YouTube channel so you guys could see more in-depth stuff right now. So it's going to be posted right now inside the Geekout group. So please follow me because I do not have a lot of friends. When I upload pictures, I need likes, I need those kinds of stuff to feel like I have a social life. Helps me keeping myself from committing suicide. So age targeting on Outbrain. Usually you can use that third-party data, but it would cost you extra money from 3, 5 to 10 cents. What I do to avoid it and use that third-party data, which is really big, and honestly I think that it would probably get closed at a certain point, but just because that older demo is really good, I just exclude the other ages. So for example, if I would want like a 50+ audience, then I would just exclude the other stuff. So that has been just like a big thing for me. Those campaigns are crushing it. I just get higher CTR. I can scale to the moon. It's been really big. Third tip that I'm going to share with you today has been a game changer for me. A lot of people aren't using it, and this is really big. It's harvesting YouTube discovery, harvesting YouTube as the second largest search engine out there. So guys that we've talked about during Tactical yesterday have heard about it. Sorry, I want to repeat, so everyone who listens at home and in this room would take advantage of it. So YouTube discovery campaigns is essentially just like using YouTube as a platform and getting that search quality traffic inside YouTube. So you're gonna have ads appear inside just like the search results. Okay, so this is what I've used to push my own channel, and I've actually gotten emails from people telling me, oh my God, this is amazing. I was searching how to scale Google Ads and stuff, and I saw you. That was a really big game changer, because I got like really quality type of like, are you guys taking photos? So the reason why you're missing that is because when you launch a campaign inside Google, most people would choose sales or leads, and that's okay. But when you do that, the system kind of like limits you into certain, just like a wizard, narrow type of like approach on how to set a campaign. And it's really good for people who are just amateurs or starting out. But since we're professional marketers, what I urge you to do is create a campaign without a goals guidance. Once you do that, you would have stuff opened up for you, like the network placements, just like the search results, so that you wouldn't have gotten that option if you chose sales or leads. So you want to create a campaign, again, without a goals guidance, and make sure that you open up that campaign. Within that campaign, you can actually target anyone, but there are two types of targetings that work extremely well. The first one would be just keywords, just like go inside the campaign, add keywords, whatever that person searches, if it hits your keyword, it's just like running a search campaign. So if you already have a search campaign running, just get those keywords who converted and just like implement them inside that campaign. Also keep in mind, if you want to change the content that you're doing, YouTube users would usually search for how to blah, 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 blah. So you want to kind of like adjust your content, and that's the first type of targeting. The second type of targeting is custom intent. So there are two ways of doing it. I think I'm going to talk about it in the next couple of slides. So these are two really big stuff. Again, if you want to go in depth, either just like talk to me inside this room later on, or just like watch my YouTube stuff. I wanted to say something else, and I think I forgot. Wait, I want to share with you so much stuff, and I feel like I'm really rushing, so yeah. The next tip would be just tagging traffic using UTMs, and this is a big one just because campaigns usually go on with just like generic targetings. So when you're launching a campaign and you have multiple platforms, you have, for example, Facebook running, native running, and stuff like that, sometimes people would just start a campaign, create a remarketing campaign, start running traffic towards it, get a really good CPA, and then they would start getting traffic from other places like the Google Display Network, YouTube, and stuff like that. And that gets like the seed audience, the remarketing campaign, kind of like dirty, because the conversions and traffic that's currently coming is a really high quality type of traffic. It's traffic from Facebook, for example, and then you get some GDN garbage clicks from really bad publishers. So what I like doing is when I start the account and the campaign, I would go inside the audience manager and create those specific audiences according to UTM. So I would have my domain name .com, for example, and then UTM source equals Facebook, and UTM campaign would be lookalike or wide. And then, this is really something big, because people who are coming from Facebook aren't used to the fact that you get to see each segment within that campaign and how it reacted. So how many clicks you got, how many conversions, and you can start bid adjusting. So what I usually do is just like take my remarketing campaign to the next level by just like segmenting different traffic sources and also by days. So I would have a remarketing campaign with sometimes 10 different audiences, and it could be Facebook lookalike audience 7 days, Facebook wide 14 days, and after a while I would get to see which type of segment really converted, and I would just bid adjust them up or down if I want to get more competitive within that, because you guys don't know the sales cycle that each traffic source and each user is actually bringing you. So that's a big thing. I told you I'm going to go back to custom intent. So remember, within YouTube, I told you that you can target using the discovery campaigns, which is really big. But using custom intent in general within YouTube and with like GDN or any type of campaign is really big. And usually, the mistake that people would make when they launch a Google Ads campaign, they would go under audiences and would click on just like create a custom intent audience. And that's good and that's fine. But the default option would be just people with purchase intentions. Okay, so it's kind of like more broad. If you really want to take advantage of YouTube as a search engine, or just like the ability to kind of like, this is so big, people don't understand. The second option is actually almost like having a pixel inside other people's websites. It's almost having a pixel inside google.com, because you can create a 20 keyword list of your competitors, of like generic keywords that relate to your product or service, and then implement them inside your campaign and see how that reacts. So you get to kind of like ride that search traffic just within GDN, within YouTube, which is really big. So how you want to avoid that mistake would be getting under the audience manager and just custom audiences, and then clicking on the plus sign. That would bring you on to that page, and just choose the second option. One more small tip that I'm going to share with you would be choosing your keywords really in a just like a laser narrow targeted way, because sometimes I would see, for example, people who are doing I don't know, like a makeup or like a weight loss product, and they would get like weight loss inside. And yeah, of course you're going to get the volume, but the conversions aren't going to come, and then you're going to tell me, oh, this fucking guy, you know, he talks so much bullshit, it never works, I use custom intent. Okay, so make sure that you choose those keywords in a really, like, do the research. That's what I'm trying to say. Another big thing that people aren't really using, and it's working amazing for me, it requires a bit of like a research, but it's channel and video targeting. So I would do that in two ways. The first way I would do it is just going on YouTube. If I know that I have specific competitors, or maybe just like influencer type of like channels and stuff like that, and I would go research and add those channels inside and target them. The second way I would do it is just by getting the data from the campaign. So if I would go and just like see specific channels or specific videos that are really getting anything above 2 or 3 conversions, I would just like open up a different campaign, just like another campaign, target only those. Okay, so it's kind of like the equivalent of getting the specific placements from GDN that are working for you and opening them up inside one campaign. It's just inside YouTube. If there's a good channel that's getting you really good traffic, you're doing, I don't know, something that relates to traveling, hotels, you own a hotel, you're running traffic for a hotel, and there are a lot of influencers that are reviewing that. So you want to make sure that your video is there. So go inside your campaigns, watch the channels that have worked for you, and just make sure that you get them inside your YouTube videos or YouTube channel campaign. Another big thing that I'm using to either scale my campaigns or just when I want to launch the first kind of like initial structure would be using the suggested audiences targeting. And this is just like, there are 2 options of how I do that and get more ideas. Okay, so I'm going to share that with you. Once you go into a campaign that already got some conversions and some traffic, you can go under audiences and just like click on the search where it says try Shopaholics. You would start just writing anything there and you would get some new ideas. And this is really cool because it's going to be stuff that you can only target through here. So it's going to give you ideas on which or what advertisers like you are doing or just your past click performance. This is really good for any just like performance campaign. Okay, so that's definitely something that I would do. The other thing that has worked extremely well for me for any performance campaign would be just using the audience insights. So my rule of thumb is just like anything above 3x index. I'm going to show you how it looks like, but how you want to do it, and a common mistake that people are doing usually is getting inside the audience manager, choosing audience insights, and then you see audience to get insights on all converters. So usually people disregard that and don't choose that specific audience that they wanna just like check out. So make sure that you are using a good seed audience and not the generic audiences that Google just brings you on, because that might mess up. So sometimes you would get weird insights, trips to Japan or washers or people who are just like not really into what your product might be. Again, my rule of thumb, I would try anything above 3x. So if you see the index here and it's just like 5 or something like that, open up a campaign with that specific targeting, try it. It works most of the times. I think that I have another minute or so. Let's see what I can share with you that I haven't gotten into the presentation.
I would ask you one thing.
Yeah, sure.
What is something that like you should not do at all if you're just starting out on Google?
Oh my God. First of all, with Google, I'm going to answer it really like, okay, so with Google, I would say that the first thing that you shouldn't do is get nervous and stressed. Okay, so for those of you who are in the stock market, you need to understand playing the Google game is just like a patience kind of like game. You need to understand that the system isn't going to convert right away. It's going to take some time for the stuff, just like the conversions. You need to feel the algo. And also, don't be afraid if the campaigns are going to overspend the first couple of days. This is something that usually would happen within the Google Display Network, when opening up a YouTube campaign. If you want to make sure and see how much you really were billed on, how much you really spent, you can go under Reports, Other, and then you have something called Billed Cost. And a lot of the times when you launch new campaigns, you would just like get free traffic from Google. So the daily budget would be $100. The system would spend 300, but you would only be billed up to twice as much. So just 200 within that specific example.
Is there an AOV or a type of product that should not be using Google?
Honestly, I think Google is just an ocean of traffic. For me, Google has been such a big thing, and I've never seen something that really, if it works on other platforms, of course, if your funnel is already proven, it would work on Google. It's just a game of patience and how deep your pockets are. And the cool thing about Google, which I really like, is the fact that once a campaign starts converting, it's going to stay really stable. It's going to keep converting. It's not fluctuating as Facebook, which is really amazing if you want to sleep good at night and not refresh your page and just see that horrible, just like red. I don't know, they changed the color, I think now. It used to be white with red stuff, but yeah.
There's been a trend, at least we're seeing on some of the e-commerce brands, both in Europe and the United States, doing individual pages for search traffic specifically or display traffic. What are your thoughts on that?
I've been doing it for so much time. I think that's one of the things that me and James talked about when we met each other 6, 7, I don't know how many years ago, but James was like, you A/B test everything. And I was like, you know, the way I structured my campaigns is so fucking, you know, it was pure, you know, just like simple logic for me that if someone comes from YouTube, he needs to see different content, different lender, different pre-lender than someone who is using search traffic and is coming from search traffic. So definitely make sure that you have just like different pages for different stuff set up. There are amazing traffic sources and placements within Google, like Gmail traffic. And people who are coming from email might want to read something longer. And people who are coming from YouTube might have their speakers on, and you might want to do a VSL type of like an approach. So definitely, yeah. And also one thing that I want to talk about, the discovery campaigns that I was saying, I don't feel like I emphasized how big this is, because right now you can actually A/B test and optimize according to the thumbnail. So when you launch that type of a campaign, you would have a different type of like flow when you choose that search results, YouTube discovery, you would have different ads set up and everything. And right now, policy is really not strict, so you can really do very aggressive stuff. Like the thumbnail could be something with like arrows and frames and stuff that would just pop your content out. So definitely make sure that you optimize according to that. It's almost like the natives of YouTube.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of talk about just Google, but why not Bing? Why not Ask? Why not these other traffic sources? Are you there, or you're going like, it's not worth the time and effort?
I'm definitely there. I love natives. I love getting those like really niche platforms tested out and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of people are kind of like inside an abusive relationship with Facebook, to be honest. So it's like a love-hate relationship. You love yourself and you think you're the most amazing media buyer ever one day, and then another day you want to kill everyone. So definitely, yeah, I feel like Google is amazing for scaling. Natives would be an amazing platform. And honestly, I think that Google and natives, at least a remarketing campaign, should be something that everyone sets up. Even if you're not running on Google and your main traffic source would be Facebook, make sure that you implement the Google Pixel. Make sure that you set up remarketing campaigns within those networks, just like the YouTube, GDN, Discovery. Make sure that you're running a remarketing campaign to really squeeze out just like your cold traffic from other sources. So definitely.
Maor, thank you, brother.
Thank you, guys.